Good morning.
Good morning. Good evening.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Crypto Hour. Lots of things to talk about today. Although I have only followed the last few days. Sorry. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Hour. Lots of things to. Sorry, I had some the YouTube going as well in the background, and I was hearing my voice twice. Okay, so welcome everyone, and I am back now. I've been away on holiday for a few days, so I have got as many news to share with you today, and there are lots of things that have been happening in the past few days. Just a little bit of admin Jonathan, if you don't mind staying for a couple of minutes at the end, there's something I need to talk to you about at the end of this call. Okay, let me start sharing the screen straight away and go through the items of news that are selected for you, that are curated. For those of you that there's a couple of faces that I don't recognize that are new to the call. The way it goes is that for the first half an hour or so, I'll go through item either news or macroeconomic news that we need to talk about, and then we open the room up to question and answers. Okay, so if you have things that you think you want to ask, start writing them down, down now, so you can raise them later. Or if you have any questions about what I'm showing as well, just wait until we open the room up for questions. You can either ask them, by the way, when it's time to ask questions, you can either unmute yourself and ask them live, which is probably better, or you can write them in the chat box and I can read them out. Okay, let me start sharing straight away. Go onto the browser. Okay, there's a few, as you can see, there's a few windows open. And now, first questions, okay. Anybody here that played with Barbies when they were younger? Or Barbies or Ken doll? Either one of them. These are kind of like big news now. Come on, this means that crypto is really arrived. Now we can have the Barbieverse soon. Okay, so it's just showing you kind of like how now more and more big names are getting into this NFT craze and the metaverse. Now, obviously, many brands have got this kind of IP that they've developed for many years. And talking about Barbie, it's a name that we all recognize. So it already has that value attached to the brand. And now, what brands are doing are monetizing, their brands, like for example, Marvel. All the movies that they developed with their IP that they developed for many years. This is another step. So many brands now will be monetizing by issuing NFTs and being present, either creating a metaverse of their own or being present on another metaverse is already existing. Okay, these are talking Mattel, which is the brand that owns Barbie, is launching this summer on the Flow blockchain. Okay, and this is not kind of small fry, because it's kind of like they got big VCs as well, venture capitals backing it, and they are talking about making this is a service that's called Cryptoys. So they are bringing toys to the crypto world basically, and that will not just include Barbie, but other brands of Mattel's, like Hot Wheels, for example. And they're talking about making it into playable avatars. Okay, so we'll see what comes from it, but you start making a note of the kind of like projects that are doing things that might be interesting. Okay, because it's all kind of like a new universe, and so if you're looking to get involved in some projects, start looking at who's making moves. So start looking at the Flow blockchain, start look at things like cryptoids, and then you might find then something that you're thinking, actually, this is something that I want to get involved in some stage, where they're playing a game, where they're buying some tokens as an investment. So there are many different ways of getting involved. I mean, for me, obviously, I didn't play with Barbies when I was younger, but who actually didn't watch some Looney Tunes, when they were younger, and now we bring in Warner Bros. Looney Tunes on Nifty. So, by the way, hands off Sylvester the Cat, because that's mine. Okay, so that's my hero. But it's again, something that makes you smile, and some of the items that have actually got to a big value in crypto are not items that are particularly, let's say, works of art, say Picasso or something like that, but they are items that makes us remind us of something. Whether it's the beginning of the crypto world with the with the kind of pixelated images, or something like this that brings us back to our childhood, and think, all the cartoons that we used to watch on the television. So the real good projects are the ones that manage to move your heart, apart from your mind and your wallet as well. But when the heart leads first, then the other things follow. So this is why I wanted to show, with a little bit of lightness, I wanted to start with this today, because it just showing you how this snowball is starting to gather pace. And by the way, for all you Australian guys, I mean, I'll have a look at the Tasmanian devil. Okay, that definitely must be highly sought after in Australia, maybe. Okay, and between the other things, by the way, this year we are celebrating the 80th anniversary of Looney Tunes. Okay, so this is why they are launching to celebrate this, and to celebrate Tweety as well, which is a character in the Sylvester the Cat stories. So going back now to more serious stuff, there's quite a few tabs that I have opened to share with you. Let's start with this one, and this is quite interesting, because it's thinking like you are on these calls now because you want to learn about crypto, you want to learn about Bitcoin and blockchain technology. But if you were going the traditional way, where do you go and learn about these things? And now this is something that I actually picked up today, and it's quite interesting, because it's talking about this person and the New York Law School. Okay, so this is somebody that wrote a book about Bitcoin with a preface from one of the professors from the New York Law School, and they noticed that by writing emails to this professor, so it wasn't like a cold call or something like this out of the blue. This is somebody that's already worked on this project together, and the emails were not getting through to her. And further analysis actually shown that all the emails containing the word Bitcoin were screened and blocked, so that nobody could communicate by using the word Bitcoin. And this is kind of not just, there are many institutions that actually use that kind of approach, and it kind of is something that should concern you, because whether you like Bitcoin and blockchain and all this new technology or not, I think the least anybody can do is to inform themselves and then decide if it's something that it's has merit or not. But shutting our eyes and putting our head in the sand is, especially for an academic institution, it's not a good policy, especially when it's trying to educate the young minds of tomorrow. So this is why I wanted to bring it to you, not just because of look at what they're doing, but also making you understand what you are facing. you know, when we were talking, and we're talking for now, we've had this call now for about a year, and when we're talking about that the establishment will fight it, you know, some of the things are more visible and some of the things are more covert, like this one. So you don't get to see these things, but then pay attention when they are brought to your, you know, to your attention, because this is the way that the establishment is trying to control the narrative and the development of this industry. And if they're against it, that should make you think, because, you know, an education establishment is there to learn and to educate, and to especially to filter and to examine all new technology, all new philosophies. And you know, it just leaves me with a really bitter taste in my mouth when I read things like this. Now, second thing, a bit more positive in the world of crypto. This is a survey conducted by one of the main advisory companies, and Deloitte and Touche in the United States, with 2,000 of the main retailers. So these are large retailers with revenues of over 500 million. Okay, and it was found that 85% of these retailers are preparing to accept crypto payments in the next 24 months. Okay, and why? Because they think the cryptocurrency payments will be everywhere in their respective industries. So this is the big companies, but even the smaller companies, maybe it's like this smaller percentage with 73% against 85%, but still a big percentage of these companies are now investing heavily in the infrastructure to accept crypto payments. Now, so these are the kind of, you know, kind of like investment, and you can see that like the big companies are the ones that, you know, are investing more in this technology, because they can see where these things is, you know, is going. And it's funny that you see these two, the 500 million and above, and then the next group is not the next group down, but funny enough is the 10 million to 100 million, which probably is seen, you know, the reason why you see that kind of such a large proportion of this is because also the more entrepreneurial group as well. So you can see as well the current customer interest in digital currency, which, you know, 32% of the public has a moderate interest, 65% has a significant interest in digital currency. And these are from the customer's point of view. Now, for the retailer, you know, why do they think they want to get involved in cryptocurrencies? So it's seen as a competitive advantage at the moment. They can see that the use of digital currency will increase exponentially over the next few years, and they, you know, most of them, 83% of the survey, think that digital currency will become legal tender in the next 10 years. And they're talking about here in the United States, okay, not, you know, talking about El Salvador or Central African Republic or anything like this. Okay, so this is the expectation of large companies. Okay, so the CEOs of large companies. So that should make you think. So these are the people they are planning. They're putting things in place today, and they don't have a short-term look on this. They have a long-term look. So they know that this is going to happen, and they're preparing, because they know that you know, unless they are ready for it, they are just going to become irrelevant. Okay, this is another part of the same report. So it's talking about the same report here, just looking at it slightly different. So this is the customer focused motivation of doing the same thing, or accepting. So we're talking about accepting stablecoin payments, cryptocurrency stablecoin payments in the next 24 months. Okay, so increase the customer experience, increase the customer base, and being perceived as cutting edge by accepting cryptocurrencies. And this is where we already looked at look at this, just a slightly different point of view. this is another statistic still talking about Bitcoin that is showing how the adoption of Bitcoin is projected to hit about 10% by 2030. And here, to see a normal, adoption curve of new technology, and it shows where we are at the moment. So we are at the very beginning of this steep growth that we will see. And I'll show you what it looks like on other technologies. I mean, this is what is projected again for Bitcoin. This is an average of other technology that we all know. Okay, so these two thick lines, the blue and the red lines, are averages, and the colored lines are different technology. Like the green one is the landline, the orange one is the automobile, yellow one is electricity, blue one is the internet, this light blue one. The dark blue one is the radio. You can see cellular phone, tablet, and smartphone. Okay, so this is the average of technology adoption curves, and this is the number of years normally that it takes for a certain technology to be adopted. Now, blockchain technology is running faster than these averages. Okay, so just to make you realize, so you can see roughly on average, to get a penetration of above 80%, we're looking at around 18 to, where are we here, about 17 to 18 years to get to the point where 80% of the world population is actually using this technology. So we are now, we started in 2009, so we are 13 years down this, down the start of this technology. So there aren't that many years left to get to the average, to a big, if not adoption, to at least availability to the majority of the market. Okay. So I mean, this is not, is not, like just a reason for just putting all your money in Bitcoin or anything like this. So just to open your eyes at how this technology would be adopted. The same way that 20 years ago, something you could have carried on in your life without using maybe the computer or without using the internet, but now it's pretty much everywhere, and you kind of like you're forced to use it to access many goods and services. And this is saying that Bitcoin, it's actually a really good game theory in which the kind of the best result of playing this game is to adopt Bitcoin, because it has the best results long term for the users. And so there is a high probability that Bitcoin's global adoption will grow significantly into the near future, and price somehow will follow. We'll see. There are many numbers that floated around. We're not going to talk about this right now, but obviously with more adoption, the Bitcoin supply is limited. So supply and demand works in that way. So if more people want something, which is limited in number, then the price goes up. Okay, this is another graph, and I'll explain it. So don't worry about it. It's quite simple actually. The green line is simply Bitcoin's price. Okay, from June 2018 to today, and the blue line, the kind of this blue area, is the number of Bitcoins that are on exchanges. Okay, and we can see that, so the lowest point, which was done that we reached in 2019, and this is after we had the birth of Binance and other exchanges. So that's why this number went up, because before there wasn't it wasn't that easy to have Bitcoin on different exchanges. So as you can see, the number of Bitcoin on exchanges is at an historic low. Okay, which is even lower much lower than what we had in, during the 2020 drop in price when Bitcoin went down to $3,500. So it is a level that it is normally associated with kind of like high hodling. So the market itself is saying that they think that this asset is worth keeping, because if they were thinking of selling, we would see something like this, because Bitcoins would be put on the exchanges ready to be sold. Okay, because this is what happens. So normally the periods where, like you can see here in March, you can see that there was a high number of Bitcoins here on exchanges because people wanted to sell them, were panic selling. Okay, so to sell the Bitcoin, first of all, they need to go on exchanges. And here is the complete opposite. Okay, so people are taking Bitcoin away from exchanges, putting it in cold storage. Okay, so that should tell you something, at least that the sentiment is positive in terms of where the holder of Bitcoin think that Bitcoin will go in the future. Okay, so that is the article that I got that graph from. Okay, this is okay. Let me get rid of this. Now, another of the big boys, MasterCard, now announces that it will be easier to buy NFTs with cards directly. Okay, so it has announced a partnership with Immutable X, Candy Digital, The Sandbox, Mintable, Spring, Nifty Gateway, and MoonPay to enable NFT commerce. So that, at the moment, if you're on OpenSea, you need to first of all have a crypto wallet. Then you need to buy, you need to load a crypto wallet with funds and pay in either Ethereum or Solana. But now this is starting to change. So MasterCard will be will allow direct purchases of NFTs on NFTs with fiat. Okay, on another another bit to show you kind of the infrastructure that needs to be present on the background. So these are all kind of things that make it easier for retailers and customers to come together and pay in crypto. So now this is a crypto payment solution called Nimiq, and they have launched this this kind of like charge now function. Okay, so the way they will work, so this is where it works at the point of sale. So if you go into a shop and you want to pay with crypto, the retailer will show you a QR code. Okay, now then the buyer scans the QR code with a crypto wallet, and then complete the transaction that way. Okay, and then this crypto payment.link shows the success, gives you a success notification real time. Now, this is then there are kind of like different bits of saying how then you can link the employee's wallet on their device to the retailer wallet. So these are obviously things that need to be worked out. The details that maybe are no interest to you when you go and buy, but obviously they need to be worked out on the retailer side. Otherwise, the payments will go to the shop assistant and not to the shop, which would be good for the shop assistant, but not so much as a business. And then they also have expanded to cover over 75 fiat currencies. So just this not particular. I don't say that you got to use Nimiq, but these are all things that are making that transition easier, or people being able to use direct cryptocurrency payments, on to do the day-to-day transactions. Now, and this is something that maybe it would be good to bring, Jonathan in, as is specializing, especially this area here. It's talking about privacy preserving ID is a way of enabling people that are using crypto mainly as their form of payments, and they value so they go into crypto because they value the privacy that it allows to be able to participate in traditional finance product without having to give away all their data, only choosing, being in control of their data and only choosing what they share with the financial company that they're dealing with. So it's a way, basically, this would be a way of allowing the company to verify the person that they are dealing with without giving them then access to their data forever and ever. Jonathan, I don't know if you want to come in here and
I think Jonathan asked you like in 10 minutes.
Sorry?
He asked you to give him 10 minutes.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we can bring it up later. Okay. So this is what we're talking about here. Okay. And DeFi platforms and traditional financial institutions can perform identity verification without compromising privacies. Then we're really talking now, and we're really talking about the benefit in the two worlds meeting and really working at their best. So there was another thing. So this is the problem really. Okay, so the DeFi platforms are required to do the KYC. Also, lenders need to know the borrowers are likely to repay a loan, and then the terms are fair for all parties. So how can we do this in a decentralized way so that then the financial institution don't hold your data? And we all know that this pretty much any big financial institution you can name has been hacked, and your data has been then used to power many scams. Okay, so how can we stop that? And this is a way that the things can be this can be achieved. And when Jonathan is ready, he can talk a little bit more about this, because I think it's an area that is really interesting. How especially now that crypto is used more and more, so there will be a lot more reasons for crypto to interact with institutions and with where identity needs to be checked. So being able to do it in the right way, I think would be very powerful. On more adoption, and anybody that's working in financial services knows about the Bloomberg terminal that last year started giving news about crypto as well, but it was limited to a few cryptos. Now they added 40 more coins. Now the thing is something that I found quite funny. One of the comments was by the co-founder of 3 Arrows Capital. He's saying that Pablo saying it's quite funny to read descriptions that there are for each cryptocurrency in the Bloomberg terminal, which are very simplistic. But also the one thing that they also wrote was quite nice, and thinking, look, also cool that they link to the white papers. So actually, do people in the financial services actually are starting to look at crypto, actually study how they should really do, rather than dismiss it as a fad? It's significant, because this is the tool that banks and financial institutions use to get their financial information. Okay, so it is significant once something like Bloomberg allows access to a large number of projects. Okay, so we're talking about now with the 40 new ones and the 10 they already had, about 50 coins that we'll be reporting on. Okay, so what does that mean, guys? It means that there are now 50 coins that the institutions are looking at. Okay, so that is now significant. It's not just Bitcoin and Ethereum and a few more. It's 50 coins. It's quite a large number. This is something that you might have heard of as well. PayPal, which has been allowing people to buy cryptocurrency since the end of 2020, has now starting to allow people to transfer these cryptocurrencies to external wallets. Okay, so it's only limited at the moment to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. But still, it is a start. Okay, and it's because at the time when it started, you could just basically buy these coins and hold them and use them as a kind of a paper trading, really. But now is, they're allowing you to transfer it outside, but also they expanding the crypto payment function. What is that? Checkout with crypto. So they got a checkout with crypto option, which is available only at the moment to some select US users, but will soon be rolled out to all US customers. And then, from there, once it's been tested and tried there, it will be rolled out to the rest of the world later. Now, again, it's not because I particularly love PayPal, but they have about half a billion people with a PayPal account. Okay, so when we're talking about, the adoption curve, guys, this is half a billion people now that they can check out, that potentially they can check out with crypto. So that should make you think, this is not a fad anymore. It's a reality. So just forget about price. Don't forget about looking at price and charts right now. But just these are the things that you should read. This is one of the things. Forbes now, you say 9 crypto companies now make the list of the top 50 fintech companies in 2022. So the number is growing every year. This is the list of the fintech, crypto fintech companies. So you might have heard about Alchemy, which is a payment solution that does a lot of point of sale technology. Avalabs, the Avalanche, okay, Chain Analysis, Circle, which runs the the USDC stablecoin and so on, FTX exchange, OpenSea, Paxos. So these are companies that are now recognized as in the top 50 fintech companies of 2022. Well, how much time? We've already gone half an hour, so I'll just do this last. I think I've got a couple more, and then we'll open the question and answers. Now, this is a slight, as we are growing, there are these news that sometimes should make you think and worry. Now, Litecoin has launched a new feature that will allow you to control, your privacy. So we're kind of like switching it on and off. Now, because of this, it's been delisted from some South Korean exchanges because they say that for them it's very important to have KYC, and any project that doesn't allow KYC is not going to be allowed on their exchanges. So and it's something that should worry you, because we are, this world is really being launched to avoid this oversight. And are we being corralled into a certain solution, against the will of the creators of these projects? And this is, it's interesting how it will go in the next few years, because who will win the battle? Is it the crypto creators and native they have made this possible, or will it be the regulators that are trying to shackle really this new technology to just be able to control it as they have controlled the financial system up to now? Sorry. And again, just wanted to say a new thing about you. We often spoken about VeChain, which dominates the cryptocurrency supply chain management. Now they just done a deal with UFC, which is the Ultimate Fighting Championship, for those of you that don't know what it is. And it's the first blockchain partner that there has ever been for UFC. So it just, nothing changes really for the project or for UFC, just making, again, this project more visible. Because whether you know VeChain or not, the technology that they are using will be used by you without knowing it. When you go to the supermarket, when you connect with many retailers that use supply chain management to verify the things that they're telling you. Because at the moment, if you're buying a product, let's say a food product, and you buy saying it's a premium, maybe it's, I don't know, organic or whatever else, it's in a way, you have to trust them that what they're saying is true, because what most of their claims are basically marketing. Okay, so but how do you prove that those claims are real, that they actually do what they say they do? And this is what VeChain is enabling with the blockchain technology, and with the products that they develop. They are embedded into then the products that are being produced, and the ingredients. Then they can prove every step of the way from production to to where something has been industrially prepared and is being delivered. So you'll be able to do what you can do in cryptocurrency in general, which is don't trust but verify. Okay, so when somebody claims that they are special, then you can go and check that really are doing things in a way that nobody else is. Okay, and last, as we, this is kind of like we can do a crypto hour without talking Cardano in some way. And this is kind of like comparing. There's been a lot on the news about Solana, about the fact that the actual crypto, the blockchain has switched off a few times, which is quite funny. To show you, where you can compare the FUD with reality. Okay, this is what the allocation was at creation for Cardano and Solana. Okay, the blue is a public sale. So most of Cardano, and talking about here more about 81% was allocated to public sale, so no control over who could buy or not buy. 17% went for the the team, the company, and some VCs that supported the project, and 2% to the Cardano Foundation, which is a public community-owned organization, classifies it, is not connected to any entity in particular. Okay, and look at it, compare with Solana, with 48% is VCs, okay, venture capitalists. Yeah, 13% went to the foundation. Then this green part, it just basically funds for airdrops or things. Basically, it's marketing really, so that they can give tokens away and appear like a really exciting project. And this thin blue line, this is the public sale. Okay, so when Solana came to exist, it was a completely pushed project. Okay, it's not something that was being promoted by the community. The community didn't even exist. Okay, so this is something that should, when you get involved in a project, these are the kind of numbers that you should be aware of. Because, this red 48% is significant. It means these are the people that own the project and that launched it and that benefit from increase in price. It's not here. The blue one is me and you, is the public. Okay, this is the blue thing here, is the public. So this is the public that benefits from Solana. Okay, so who's getting all the money is the red area here, where here is the blue area. So that's the difference, in these two particular projects. But you should be looking at this number for any project that you're thinking of getting involved in and supporting. Okay, so I've done almost about 40 minutes of yapping. Let me stop sharing here and start taking a few questions. And Jonathan, let us know when you're ready and when you talk a little bit more about identity, and we'll give you the mic. You ready now? You're still muted.
Okay. Am I on? Yeah.
Hey.
Good.
Okay. So yeah, we were talking about identity and the best way of basically merging the traditional finance with new decentralized finance, and now the control of identity and what we share with the institution that we connect with, and how we can keep control of that, of what we share. So Mike is yours.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the move for most crypto projects is towards KYC and AML. So I think everyone acknowledges that we do need these things. We need to be able to pay taxes on what we're making, and we need to be able to pay for our roads and our trains, and we don't want criminals to consume our finance industry. But equally, we know that the big boys who have controlled our finance to date have not done a great job, still not doing a great job, and in future won't do a great job. So being able to control our own our private data and withdraw and remove our assets easily is crucial. And I think that traditional finance are recognizing it and will start to give us the tools that we need, or adopt the tools that we need. So I noticed that excuse me, Stripe, even, which is kind of a new player in the digital finance space, payment space, but they're now accepting crypto and excuse me, accepting crypto, and you don't have to do KYC to buy from one of the retailers having Stripe payments on board. It's just done at the sort of retailer's end. So I think that's probably where we'll see it first, is actually retailers who want to get involved with the traditional finance will have to do the KYC and AML and create identity within that. So we've got that trusted link between the businesses and the finance industry. But the demand will reduce, hopefully, on the sort of the payers end, the people who are paying the fees on it all. Because really, when we're using these services, we are in a privileged, I mean, we're giving our money over to pay a fee on every transaction we're making. So why, when we're paying for it, why are we then held to account for it to such a high level? And that, I think that's one of the areas where we'll start to see the small guys start to win a little bit, hopefully. The other thing in terms of the data side of things is that actually we do need to have our private data accessible to these industries and to retailers and to any kind of organization we get involved in. So this week we've been talking about identity for trust relationships. And, as you were saying, we need to be able to verify, not trust, in the way we interact with the blockchain and smart contracts and things like that. Actually, when it comes to one-to-one relationships, so working with peer-to-peer transfer of goods, we do need to know who we're dealing with before we're recruiting people, before we're going to business partnerships, before we're just handing our children over to daycare centers, things like this. So there's always an element of trust that you have to grow and adopt, that we do on a one-to-one basis in the physical world, and those things do need to be replicated in the digital. So handing your children over to a metaverse gaming platform is something that I want to be able to go and verify who it is I'm handing my kids over to. If I'm immersing them in a metaverse that and I know they get immersed, I need to know who's behind it. I need to know that I can trust those individuals, and that's where identity really becomes a driving force. Actually, if I'm on the other side of the equation, I'm running a metaverse and I want people to know who I am, what my track record is, what my criminal record is, maybe even what my we have our criminal records check system in the UK that's been reasonably successful over the past 20 so years, and that needs a digital equivalent too. So we've got a demand and a requirement for privacy, but instead of it all going into the hands of the other party in that transaction, it needs to stay in our own hands, so we have sovereign control over it.
Jonathan, can I just interrupt you for a second? And by the way, for those, there are a few new faces that maybe haven't seen Jonathan before. Jonathan is a Cardano stake pool operator, so he's an expert on all things Cardano. And some of you may even not know what Cardano is, by the way. But this is what, and also Jonathan is specializing in the Cardano identity solution. which is called Atala Prism. So he's doing a pioneer course for that. So that's why I brought him up to talk about identity in particular. And Jonathan, as usual, he runs a call at 9:30 on Discord. So Jonathan, please post the link on the chat box. So if you're interested to know more, then jump onto his call as well at 9:30 when this will be finished. The one thing I wanted to ask you on a practical level. So the moment that obviously you now know about the Cardano solution, how practically would you decide what to share or what not to share with companies? So how would it work on our mobile or the whichever way we interact with the supplier that we want to share information with?
Yeah, so it's starting to become clearer, and implementations will change over time. But now there's so a couple of projects in particular I'm thinking of that actually making grounds in the Cardano space. So the underlying technology in Cardano is called Atala Prism, and that's sort of the identity solution where you have your trifecta of your verified credentials. So someone who so you're producing a proof of age, for example, which is the obvious one. That's something that you want to prove to the off license that you're of age. Then you have your verifying body who will say, yes, this person, we can prove that they are 18, we'll accept it. And that will be a trusted organization. That could be your government, or it could be your Department of Work, pensions, these sorts of bodies. And then you'll have the retail, obviously, who wants to run that test. And on the mobile front, which is our best interface towards identity holding and verifying at the moment, we've got a couple of apps coming out. So Atala Prism have their own implementation. So they have a front end that talks to the underlying Atala Prism backend. There's one called Profiler, which is coming out now. And again, that's a mobile solution. And also Proofspace. And all these guys are working in various areas of identity, verified credentials, supply chain verification. And the way that you'll use it sort of on a first instance is that you have to provide your proof of age. So it might be a case of going to the retailer, holding your thumb against your phone in the app, which verifies that you own the phone and that you've done biometrics so you can access the phone. And then your decentralized identity will be activated. And if it's a case of just your age that needs to be verified, then you'll tick the box, say, yes, I'm happy to share my age, or even less than that. It may just be, am I over 18? Because that's all the retailer will need to know. So then it's okay, this is the data I'm willing to hand over. You put your thumb on the screen, hold your phone up, and the phone can be scanned, or it could be an NFC, just presence, and that will then activate the verifying body to then authorize, yes, this person is over 18. If you trust our record on it, then you can trust the person in front of you is over 18, and the job's done. So that's going to be the interface to begin with, I think, because everybody, the majority of people have a mobile phone, a smartphone capable of having an app, and then sharing your in the future it will be rings or phones, but watches or things like this that will all just start to be less and less intrusive as we go through. And yeah, it might even be tattooed at the end. Who knows?
Smart clothing is the next frontier, isn't it? So we actually wear this stuff. We won't even need to do these things consciously in a way. But thank you very much, Jonathan. Thank you for the intervention, and so I will, encourage all of you that can, they are free at 9:30 to go and join into Jonathan on his call, because it's it's really interesting. Okay, so let's get some questions. So we've got about 10 minutes left on the call. There was a question here by, I'll start picking them up from the chat first. Pierre was asking about the ruble, saying, why is the ruble going up so much, even if Russian economy is not doing well? I mean, that's mainly due to sanctions, because they can't buy anything from abroad, really. So the imports are pretty much stopped. But at the same time, they are selling their oil and their gas. So people need to, so they're exporting, but they're not importing. Okay, so obviously the ruble is going up as a result. But it doesn't mean that the economy is doing well. It actually would cause them more problems than advantages, because they can't spend those rubles.
Look, IPA did mention backed by gold, because that's one of the things that Russia did do in the very early stages of the sanctions, is they gave a gold value to the ruble. So it is backed by gold. And I think that's probably what happened. And from what I hear is Europe, if they want to buy, or anybody wants to buy oil, gas from Russia, they have to do it in rubles, which is gold backed.
It's not being gold backed is I wouldn't trust that, to be honest with you, because they can't get their hands on that much gold to support the ruble. So I would.
Years.
Sorry?
They've been accumulating gold, Russia and China, because I used to do the gold thing. I used to educate people on gold. And over the years, I've seen how Russia and China are the ones been accumulating a lot of gold over the years.
Yes, I mean, this is fine, but can you walk into a Russian bank and with your rubles and come out with gold? So that's the thing. It's not so much the fact that they have gold, is the convertibility of it. That's the problem. And the transparency of it. So, but it's not, what is given value to the ruble in the short term is not the fact that they have gold and they're backing it by gold. Is the fact that they've basically on all the exchange rates are floating. Okay, exchange rates of currencies, and are determined by the differences in the balance sheet as economy, and that comes from money that they spend and money that they receive at the end of the day. Incoming, outgoing. It is in a way, on the simplest reason, it's determined by inflows and outflows. Okay, and the reason that they have pretty much, nobody is selling anything to them anymore. It means that there are no outflows on the Russian, on the Russian economy, and they are, but they're still getting inflows, because people need to buy oil and gas in rubles. Okay, so there is at the end of the day, it's always supply and demand. Okay, so the demand is still there, because they got these things that people want, that they want to buy, and they want rubles for it. But the supply is limited. Okay, so that's the reason why anything goes up or down is always less supply and demand. But okay, we'll see how it develops. I mean, I wouldn't go out and buy rubles, but feel free. You probably know more about currency trading than I do. Okay, any other questions?
Luca, I've got a question.
Hi, Stan.
Just in regards to Jonathan's topic that we're talking about, I'm hearing that the digital currency is programmable. It's got a little bit of the Cardano features, from what I'm hearing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm also hearing is that there's millions of cameras in China and facial recognition. So you cross the crosswalk when you shouldn't be crossing the crosswalk, it automatically finds you off your digital currency. So that's the bad side coming from that side compared to the good side that we're seeing digital and crypto power has. Am I on the right track?
Yeah, you're perfectly on the right track. I mean, this is what digital currencies are, the programmable money. And also, blockchain is a tool. So then how you use that tool, is completely down to you as an organization. So this is why we think we are at this stage at the moment, and what we're talking about is this fight for the final use of the technology. So we will, the idea, I mean, these, cryptocurrencies are come up as a grassroots movement. And so, seeing how they will develop in the next few years will be very interesting, because, for me, the way I see it is that once you enable people that are not able to do certain things and give them the economic advantage to use these things, it's then very difficult to go and take it away from them. I mean, there have been, huge advantages in for example, in El Salvador's economy from using cryptocurrency. But it's not just that, but any places they have adopted, other businesses or countries like El Salvador, they have adopted cryptocurrency. I've seen an increase of the level of business, the level of transactions that is going through their books. So there is kind of like an incentive to use this, and not just obviously everybody does it because they want more for themselves, but there is a virtual circle, because by kind of like trying enriching yourself, you're also enriching the community in a way that doesn't happen with the normal financial system, which is something that was born, on the back of the Industrial Revolution, and that is designed to keep the status quo. So it's designed to, to keep the worker caste working and not growing into kind of like a middle and upper class, because that's other people that do that stuff. So this is how I see it. I see it as a really as a change from the bottom up, and I think we get into the point of no return, because we'll see now. We got two examples now. Okay, El Salvador has been going for a while. The Central African Republic that just joined, but there are many other countries that are considering, the step, going the full step to legal tender, because there are many failed economies that cannot support a national currency, for example. So there are many economies across the world that function by using other currencies as their national currency. So, what's the difference, between, El Salvador, for example, trading using US dollars or trading using Bitcoin? From their point of view, they don't lose anything by going to another system. If there is, as you would do, if you go, you're going and purchasing a product, and there are two things that do the same thing, one is cheaper than the other, you buy the cheaper one, because it does the same thing, but you spend less money to use it. The same from them, thinking, well, why should we use the US dollar? And then if somebody's working in the US and sending money home, somebody's taking 20% off, simply for sending some money home, where you can do it for cents instead, and keeping all the money that you work hard for. So it's not difficult from that point of view, because it's people are making this decision at the individual level. Okay, and then the individual decisions that do mount up in the end, and they create a movement. And this is why these things grow, not because the US or Europe has decided that we should go that way, but it's because people are voting with their feet, with their wallet, really, on what they want to support, because they see the advantage of doing that. There are more and more people are literally unbanking themselves because they don't like what they see. I don't have it handy with me, but there's a slide of the ARK Invest report that I use normally during my presentations, that shows how much how much money is siphoned off by the traditional system, and what difference it could make by using cryptocurrency instead. I mean, it is stark, and it is really shocking once you understand what's going on. I mean, if you start reading a little bit of a few economics book by the Austrian School of Economics, and you understand that what is being taught in most economic schools across the world is based on basically failed theory, because that's what Keynesian economic is something that doesn't stand up on its own 2 feet. Then you think, who benefits at the end of the day? Whenever something is going on, you've got to ask yourself, if something is not true, and if a lie that is being propagated time and time again, who benefits from this? And the old fiat system is put in place to take money from your pocket without you realizing, because the main reason why fiat systems are born is because governments run out of money. Simple as that. Because they get into something that is doing well, then they start overreaching. Traditionally is through war, when they start attacking another country, and then war is expensive because they need to pay the army, they need to pay for weapons, etc., etc. At a certain point, they run out of money, and they're thinking, well, we don't have any more gold to spend, so let's just make it up. And this is how fiat systems are born. If you actually start looking into it, the traditional fiat system was born in the UK during the First World War, when the government ran out of money. Then they went to, the only way at the time in a gold-backed system, government could raise more money is by emit bonds, and then people will buy these bonds, and the government will pay over maybe 25, 30 years to repay. Now, when they came out with this bond, nobody wanted to buy. So the take-up rate was very low. So what they did is actually basically they made up somebody that would I would say purchase these bonds and give them back to the government. Okay, so that's how fiat money was really born. So they basically lent these made up people, lent the money to buy the bonds. Okay, and this is, once you understand that, you're thinking, well, if money is a representation of something valuable, which is your work, and over history we always use gold because it's the hardest thing that you can create, and also it's indestructible. So it stands the test of time. You may be using today the gold that was used by Cleopatra, for example, and it still held its value. So once you take away that element, which is that strength of the currency, what's left? And that's the real question you should ask yourself. So why give him? If somebody came to your door and saying, "Give me half of your gold," you would probably get your weapons out and trying to run them out and thinking, "Why should I give you that thing?" And if the government said that over 10 years they were going to take 70% of the things that you work hard for throughout your life, you would be up in arms, and would be marching, in huge numbers in front of your government's offices. Now, nobody's doing that because nobody realizes this is happening. But you do realize it, subconsciously, because if you put money in your mattress and you take it out after 10 years, way before maybe you could buy a car with it, now you can buy a packet of chewing gum. So that is the reality. It's an easy way for the government to fund its expenses without without people realizing it. So it is really a hidden tax that is taking money, taking value out of out of your pocket and into the government pocket. So that's me. And this is the question as well. When somebody talks about, Pierre was saying, only central bank digital currencies, not if I can help it. I mean, if obviously, and there's the movement, the crypto movement is just to avoid. That's really is kind of like the devil. Really, central bank digital currencies are just an extension of the system that is crumbling in front of our eyes today. So I don't think that can be the future, because there is no innovation in having a digital currency, just like giving a different name, kind of emperor's new clothes in a way, so giving a different name to something that's already there. Okay, now I will need to close the room at 9, unless it's I'm happy to take one last question if everybody has something that we haven't talked about, or otherwise we will update until next week, as I have quite a few calls lined up. Unfortunately, Jonathan, I won't be able to take part in your call, but still, I'll remind everybody the link is in the chat box. So if you'd like to go on Jonathan's call, is you can see the DST link up there about 15 minutes ago, and yeah, I'll just put a new one here. So yeah, carry on the good work. Oh, by the way, Jonathan, if we can now please close the room, could ask Jonathan to just stay for a couple of minutes. There's something I need to talk to you one-to-one. And for everybody else, I will see you next week. I will stop the video.
Thank you, Luca.
Now. All right.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Sorry, stop recording. Okay. Okay, just a sec. Okay. Hi, Jonathan. It's just very quickly. Do you know Alex Stoyanov, Dimitar?
Yeah, he got in touch.
Oh, he got in touch with you already. Oh, that's great.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's something that you can if you can make it or not. I don't know what to expect from that event, so that before you commit to anything. It's we go into the venue tonight, because he's using it's a kind of like a restaurant, and he's having it's his birthday today, so we're going there for for his birthday to have a drink and such. So I don't know what this is going to be like. I chatted to the guy that's organizing it yesterday. So it seemed to be quite vague in the sense of what he was trying to achieve and what kind of community he wanted to attract. So there's got quite a few people taking part. They're quite interesting. So from the point of view of networking would be good. From the point of view of the public, I don't quite know who's going to turn up. Okay, because he hasn't organized events like these before, and I don't know if the public will turn up or not, or if it's just a bunch of people, crypto people, just getting together and shooting the shit for 2 days. So that I don't know, but it would be interesting, and he's offered to give us both a free table. So if you want to take part, then it would be nice. It would be nice to have you there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really interested, probably just from the social side. It's nice to get out, particularly at the moment as everyone's over at Consensus, and they're all posting pictures, and it all looks like glorious fun, but not available to us. So yeah, I would like to do something. I've got an event on the 18th in London that I'm coming down for.
What is it?
It's a staple operator gathering. That's how it was touted originally.
Oh, okay.
But it actually seems to have opened up. So if you want to come along as well, that'd be fine, I'm sure, because the talk around it and registration and everything it seems to be quite loose. So let me.
If it's something that I'm playing take part in, I'd be happy to, as long as I'm not, out of place.
Yeah, no, I mean I don't know exactly what's going to come from it either, because it's organized by a stake pool operator, but it's got IOG's backing, and some of those guys are going to be there, so could be interesting. I think it's this one. Yeah, and it's just like drinks in the evening, so no, that's not it either. I'll need to find it on Twitter again, I think.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I mean, if you can give me
find it, send it over.
I'd love to be there if I can.
Yeah. So because I'm doing that, whether I can make could be a couple of weeks after when it starts July. I'm not sure. It's a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's the days are Monday and Tuesday. So I don't know, maybe have a look, because he needs to know fairly quickly, because there are some people that have asked him for the table. So if he needs to reserve a table, let us know, maybe if you can, if you could maybe do one or 2 days or something like that, and have a nice conversation between you and the guys from Doge Cash.
Oh, really? Are they going to be there?
They're going to be there. I don't know.
Doge Cash.
Doge Cash, yes. There's a few people that are going to be there. Some of them are going to be NFT artists. Some of there's an Latvian exchange that's coming, and there's other things. I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you.
Right. Okay.
He's Latvian, and there's somebody as well that's been in Bitcoin since the very early days, and it's one of the first NFT artists that predates even the CryptoPunks. So we'll see. I mean, kind of, I've got an open mind. I don't mind, and I think we'll be going there with them. Kind of like AIW banner representing AIW. So let's see.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I looked at the online stuff, and it looked like it was NFT based. So I don't know how well a stake pool would do there, but
yeah, it's not. I mean, I asked him about that, and it's not. And it's not NFT. Just there are some NFTs, but it's not just that. And there's also somebody else doing. I don't know. There's kind of like a staking operator. I don't know for sure what it means, if it's something, because what does it mean? Somebody just takes your coins and stake them, and you got Nexo and products like that already available. I can do that for you, but I don't know what to expect. I mean, the question I've asked him as well is that also, how do you check that the people that are coming are not scammers? And they are real project, are doing something good. So I don't know. I say I'll do it. I said to Alex that I'll do it because we're good friends, and and that's he knows both the place, the person that runs the place, and he knows the guy that organizes. So I thought, well, it'd be good to know some good people anyway, to have to make some networking.
Yeah.
Whether it's worth doing 2 full days there, I don't know. But it depends on his organizing. Obviously, he's on Eventbrite and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know what people who will turn up to this thing.
Yeah. It's very difficult to tell early days like this. Who's which event's going to blow up and which one's not. I'll have a think. I'll do some checking with the wife as well.